Barbers, where you been?
Shit, man, I've been taking care of these motherfuckers.
Oh, damn.
Y'all was coming in, and now you're backing out. It's hard to talk big with a shotgun in your mouth. I'm glad you brought your friends, they can watch it go down. I got mine too, so welcome to my house. 'Cause these are my people, and this is my land. This is what we pray for, and this is God's plan. And if you ain't from here, then you won't understand. This is my country, and this is who I am. So welcome to my house. So welcome to my house. Stand up for mine. You better believe it, 'cause today won't be your day. I can guarantee it, you should turn and walk away and get to leaving, or I'll let this 12 gauge do all my speaking. Don't push me on the edge, boy. 'Cause I'm aiming for your head, boy. And all I see is red, boy. I told you not to cross that line. I'm giving you a chance, boy. You see the devil in a glance, boy. So I can knock you out your pants, boy. I told you not to fuck with mine. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Y'all was coming in, and now you're backing out. It's hard to talk big with a shotgun in your mouth. I'm glad you brought your friends, they can watch it go down. I got mine too, so welcome to my house. 'Cause these are my people, and this is my land. This is what we pray for, and this is God's plan. And if you ain't from here, then you won't understand. This is my country, and this is who I am. So welcome to my house.
Good evening, everybody. We welcome you live to the Knoxville Raceway in Knoxville, Iowa, as we are set to begin
the first week of the 2022 Next Level Racing Wing 360 Sprint Car Series. My name is Drake York, joined by Brent Wheeler tonight at Knoxville, as we mentioned here on Ultimate Dirt TV. And Brent, when we talk about sprint car racing, it's hard to not talk about the Knoxville Raceway, the sprint car capital of the world.
Yeah, how could you not talk about the sprint car capital? Of course, Knoxville Nationals. But again, like you said, round number 1 of the Elite Performance Industries Next Level Racing 360 Wing Sprint Cars. Good to be back here on Ultimate Dirt TV after taking a little bit of a hiatus, but we got qualifying on the program, Drake.
The hot laps just got wrapped up just a few moments ago. Look at Brandon Morgan in that 31 machine. Work through turns 1 and 2. Now we're going to put everybody out on the track at the same time, but they can't see each other, so you're not going to have dirty air and stuff like that affect it. So we're going to have the whole field come out here, and honestly, it's my favorite part about covering races on iRacing. Qualifying is done in just a matter of minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can have qualifying sessions between, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes long, and it's a case of, well, everybody going on the racetrack. It's all the same racetrack. At the end of the day, it's not going to carry over like it would at a real racetrack if you're the first car to go out on a fresher track. If you're the last car in a 40-car qualifying field, it's going to be a lot slicker than what the first guy went out on.
Gonna look at Alex Rzuzinski, currently down in 17th. Surprised to see him all the way down there. And he's going to jump up to P11 for Alex Rzuzinski. Ross Kaiser now here in the Speed Shop 51 4R. In the waters up high. Gunnar Harris the fastest right now with the 15.557. Showblock second, Shreves third, John Helms fourth. They actually moved Cornad fourth, John Helms down into fifth. That's your top 5 currently here in qualifying.
Now we'll see what record Ross Kaiser can do in that 4R. See if he can go quicker than a 15.680. He does with a 15.667, but still 11th quick. And Drake, I covered the CarQuest. The CarQuest auto sprint car qualifiers for the World Championships coming up. Obviously, I cover that top split. That's in the likes of Tyus Overlock. John Helms was there. He actually finished 3rd in top split. We've got the likes of Ernie Williams Jr., Josh Steinke, Ross Kaiser. Those drivers have all been former World Championship drivers. And then you look down the field. You've got obviously Kevin Miller, Blaine Brink. There was Alex Rzuzinski there as well. But as we get qualifying done and dusted, I'm going to bring up the qualifying results just quickly to see who got where officially. Gunnar Harris is the man that goes quick time tonight, and we will see 3 heat races on the program as we get set for heat race number 1, Drake.
Here's your starting lineup for heat race number 1 on the inside of the front row. Fastest qualifier, Gunnar Harris in the 54. Ross Cornta 2 is outside in the 10. Then it's Tyler Cowes and Dustin Sargent, row number 2. Jason Randolph, Blaine Brink, row number 3. Row 4, Ryan Frugier. And Hunter, my screen is acting up. Brent, can you tell me who that is starting 8?
Hunter Robinette, and then Jonathan Paquette in the 9th position.
As soon as I ask you for that, it clears up like it's no problem at all. Isn't the internet great sometimes, Brett?
Yes. Yes, it doesn't help that we're on completely separate sides of the world and completely, totally different time zones, which I think we're about 15 hours apart, I think it is. But that depends.
10:01 here in Brownsburg, Indiana.
10:01? You'd be Eastern. No, you'd be Central then, wouldn't you? Yeah, if it's Central, yeah, you're about 15 hours apart.
Oh,
I'm that far ahead. I'm already the next day ahead of you.
The future.
I am the future.
Well, while we both try to figure out how time zones work, heat race number 1 has already hit the racetrack. We gave you the lineup just a moment ago, but there it is on the top left of your screen. Heat race number 1 for race number 1 on the season for the Next Level Racing 360 Sprint Cars. And no better way to kick it off here at the Knoxville Raceway. Packed house for the season opener.
Well, who do you think's going to win this one? Obviously, Gunnar Harris was the man that went quick time tonight. Is anybody that you sort of want to keep your eye on throughout this 9-car field?
Jonathan Paquette kind of intrigues me from the back. Did not have the qualifying run he needed, and he's usually fairly competitive in the 360. So I see him lagging back there. He may have something up his sleeve here for the initial start of this race.
I reckon maybe a sleeper in this one might be Jason Randolph. I've seen him run around for quite some time. He's generally been pretty quick here at Knoxville. But Drake, the next level racing 360 Sprint Car Series for 2022 is underway here at Knoxville.
And Gunnar Harris with the start of a lifetime already jumping out to about 3-4 car length advantage as they go past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. You can see we're bumping and banging one car around the wall. Now there's no yellows in these heat races. We're going to go clean and green through these heat races.
Oh, they are going to be 10 laps in distance. Santa Claus in that 76 machine. He's got the 47 of Jason Randolph trying to close in for that third position. I believe it's top two that will automatically make it into tonight's main event. Everybody else will have to go through last year's qualifier racing.
Talking about Jason Randolph in that, I guess you call it Danny Lasowski throwback in the 47. He's already worked in up to third in the back of Cowles into turn number 3. Just a little bit lower line. Now that's for the first spot on the outside looking in. Currently it's Harris and Cornta in the 2 transfer spots.
Yeah, Harris, who is the man that has had the perfect night so far, qualified fastest out of this 27 car field and leading the way in heat race number 1. Again, we continue to keep our eyes peeled on this battle between Tyler Clowes and Jason Randolph, as Tyler Clowes looks to have it at the moment, but just getting a little higher on the racetrack in 1 and 2. And again, that opens up the door for Jason Randolph to try and sneak up on the inside and maybe potentially make a pass for that third position on the racetrack.
5 down, 5 to go, halfway in the books for heat race number 1. Jonathan Paquette and Blaine Brink have made their way to the pit area. Their heat race is done. We'll see them in a lower main, but top 4 nearly nose to tail down the back straightaway through turns 3 and 4. It's still Harrison Cornta, the top 2.
And Gunnar Harris is really showing the way here in heat race number 1. We'll see if we can get a look at the back end of that 54 machine just to see how he's getting around and what you can see behind him on board. Gunnar Harris right now here at Knoxville, and just listen to the sound of the 360 wing sprint cars.
Better Gunnar Harris, large and in charge, but he's not exactly getting away. Exactly. Cornton now closing up to the back bumper just a little bit as we go from in-car to way up in the sky. 2 laps to go now. And here is Cowles. He is all over Cornton into turn number 1.
Yeah, there's now 4 car on the race, on your screen, I should say. This is for the top 4 position. We've only got a lap and a bit left to run. They'll come out of turn number 4. The white flag is out. Ken Gunnar Harris. Here comes Tyler Clowes in the 76. He's going to dive down to the inside, trying to take away second from Corinta. Drake, half a lap to go.
Got hung up in the slick a little bit there. Now Cornta says heck to it. I'm not going to go from defending. He goes from defense to offense, shoots to the inside. It's going to be a drag race for the win.
Oh boy, Gunnar Harris, Ross Corinta. There was nothing in it between the parents. They come across the start-finish line. We'll have to wait and see at your official results. We'll wait for the session to roll over from heat race number 1 to heat number 2. But what a way to kick off the Next Level Racing 360 Wing Sprint Car Series, of course. Brought to you by the Apex Auto Glass and Tinting. Again, they'll have their 410 Sprint Car Series starting tomorrow night as well.
And that will be a barn burner. I mean, that series, it's right up there with the World of Outlaws in terms of competitiveness on iRacing. But there's your results. Gunnar Harris, your winner, and then Cornta second. Almost got the win. You look at that. 0.044 seconds separated the top 2 right there, coming the checkered flag. Then it was Cowles third, Randolph fourth, Ryan Frugier fifth, Dustin Sargent sixth, seventh, Robin Eddy, and then Blaine Brink and Jonathan Paquette were down in the pit area to end that one. So with that will move on to heat race number 2. Ty Showblock in the 662 will lead him down to his outside. John Helms, Ernie Williams Jr. Keep your eye on that driver in the 91. Always competitive to his outside. Ross Kaiser. Kenny Hoffman, another guy you're going to have to keep your eyes on. Man, this heat race is stacked as we go through it because you got Kevin Miller to his outside. Chris Toe in the 28. Ashton in the number 1 lines up 8th, and shotgun on the field in the 31 will be Brandon Morgan. 9 cars, 10 laps the distance. Once again, top 2 advance straight into tonight's feature event, Brett.
Yeah, really looking forward to this one. We spoke about Ernie Williams Jr., Ross Kaiser. Both those drivers have held the World Championship Pro licenses. In fact, Ernie Williams Jr., I believe it was 2 championships ago. In fact, when I was racing with him, and then Ross Kaiser in last year's World Championship. So they're going to be ones to look out for. Ernie Williams Jr. later on in the night, I'll bet my last dollar, bet my bottom dollar that he's going to be railing around the top side. He's a man that just loves the top, especially here at Knoxville. But don't forget, in front of him, both Ty Schoberlock and John Helms in the CarQuest Auto the Sprint Car World Championship qualifiers just past Monday gone. They actually ran in top split, and like I said, John Helms actually got 30 in that one. So, like you said, this heat race is stacked. Keep an eye on Kenny Miller, Kevin Hoffman as well to make a charge through the field.
We talk about top 2 transferring. Man, I could pick 6 guys that could easily go to the feature right here. As heat race number 2 is green, and for the second time in a row, we see the inside front row starting spot is the place to be. Jump for your race leader. Now we're beating and banging back behind Ernie Williams, Ross Kaiser going at it into turn number 3. Hoffman right there in on the mix as well. They come off at turn 4 down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I think John Helms may have just got the left rear of Ernie Williams Jr. out of turn 2 there on the previous lap. That unsettled the 91, but he gets that car settled back up right now. They work through turns 3 and 4. Helms has got some pressure from Ross Kaiser. I'll reckon Ross Kaiser in that 4R machine. He goes upstairs. Williams right through the middle of the racetrack. 3-1. Here comes Kenny Hoffman down to the inside.
Hoffman in that bright pink 11, making moves, not making moves. Bobby Gerald would say they slipped past Ernie Williams. 3 and 4. Ty Schoberlock still showing the way in this one. Helms in second. Williams with a big block into turns 1 and 2. They both smack the fence. Hoffman cuts down to the inside. Kaiser now looking on John Helms for that second and final transfer.
Yeah, can he get by? But the battle right now between Kenny Hoffman and Ernie Williams Jr. It is an absolute bell ringer here. Hoffman gets the cushion. Williams tries to drive back through the middle of the racetrack, trying to cut back underneath him. But that top side, probably the place to be at the moment. Now they use the cut down line out of turn number 4. So a lot of different lines being utilised already, Drake.
That's really good. The only part of the racetrack that's really slick right now is all the way around the bottom side, and it doesn't seem to be affecting anybody except Williams trying to hustle it around the berm. Everybody's going high side hustling as Williams with a big slider on Hoffman. That one comes up just short. Meanwhile, at the front, Ty Schoberlock isn't getting away. In fact, we have a battle for that second and final transfer spot. There's contact. Kaiser and Hoffman get together, and through slips Kenny Hoffman.
Well, I'll reckon Ross Kaiser, unfortunately, the big old right rear to John Helms, and of course that allowed Kenny Hoffman, the man that started position number 5 in this one with 3 to go. He's got that second and final transfer position at the moment. Again, you still see Ernie Williams Jr. running the big slider line now. Remember, Ernie Williams Jr. and John Helms, they made a little contact out of turn 2 on the opening lap. I'm sure that Ernie Williams Jr. would love to get one over John Helms as we've got 2 to go.
It's now Schoberlock and Hoffman. Here is Helms down to the inside of Ernie Williams Jr. That third spot in at 3. Does he pull the slider? Yes, he does. Helms into the third spot momentarily as Williams cuts back to the inside, side by side for that third spot with the white flag waving up front.
1 lap left to run for your leaders who work down the back straight. Ty Schoberlock into turn number 3. About to come out of turn number 4. He will be victorious in heat race number 2. Schoberlock gets the win from Kenny Hoffman in second. Third will go to John Helms, Ernie Williams Jr. Fourth, Kevin Miller. Rounds out your top 5. Mark Antonio will come home 6th. We'll take a look at those official results. So Mark Antonio home in 6th. 7th will go to Ashton Miller. Ross Kaiser in 8th. And Brandon Morgan rounds out the 9-car field. Heat race number 2 is done. Heat number 3 about to come up on the racetrack.
Andy Shreves will lead this one down to the green, and to his outside is Liam Garrison. Back to row number 2, Brett.
Yeah, Josh Deinke will start from position number 3, and JP Schreider will line up out of position number 4.
Fritsch and Alex Szerzynski. Keep your eye on Alex Szerzynski in that 22, rolling off from the 6th spot. And then your 4th and final row, Ryan Avila and Terrell Wheeler.
Now just
starting lineup, once again, 8 cars. Sorry, Brett, didn't mean to cut you off there. 8 cars, 10 laps, top 2 to the feature.
Now, I was just going to say, no relation to Terrell Wheeler either. 1 guy, 2 guys, again, we'll go 3 guys I'm going to keep an eye on. Josh Deinke, Alex Szerzynski, both drivers for the Black Diamond Motorsports stable, but also Ryan Avila. I've seen throughout the course of the social media on the iRacing groups, he is winning everything from, it doesn't matter what position, and he's doing it in the officials in 360s at this very racetrack. So keep an eye on that 49 to come from the tail end of the field.
Interesting, and I briefly mentioned Alex Szerzynski. I was talking about him during qualifying. Not somebody I would have picked to qualify as far back as he did. There you see him in that 23. Sorry, it's kind of confusing because a lot of these people register different numbers than what's on their cars. It's just one of the things, Brett, that I know you love as an iRacing announcer.
Yeah, yes, they can get very confusing, unfortunately, because iRacing won't allow you to have more than the same number twice in one server unless you've got unless you've got 3 digits. So, unfortunately, we've got to deal with what we do, and you see it week in and week out, especially if you end up broadcasting official races.
If I say the wrong number, feel free to tweet out at me. I'm not afraid of the mean tweets. Anyway, whoa, a really staggered start there by Shreves. He finally gets it going. And a lot different than we saw from the rest of the starts, but nonetheless, the inside the front row is still the place to be. But he's scattering for position down the backstretch in a 3.
Yeah, Josh Steinke, Alex Azinski again, teammates. I'll run through the middle of turn number 3 and 4. Liam Garrison to the outside, 2 rows of 2 by 2. Keep an eye on JP Schreider in that number 5J machine. Then you go back to Terrell Wheeler in that 49 car. It looks like it might even be 48. That's the black car with the pink suit on. Battle on for second as Garrison fending off a challenge from Josh Steinke as we work through turn number 1.
Speed pace laps for that second spot between Garrison and Steinke. Steinke looks like he finally has a nose in on him. Question is, can he clears him? Oh boy, he really drove it hard and heavy to the bottom side of 3 and 4. Contact behind Straczynski into the wall, but still the race is for the second spot. Still the high speed pace laps continue as Steinke is going to try to cross back over on Garrison, but Garrison finally has him cleared.
Yeah, got to keep an eye on Ryan Avila too in that SpeedShop51.com number 49 machine. Yeah, like I said, he was one of those drivers that's been winning official races from any position. As here comes again Steinke in that 80 machine for Black Diamond Motorsports, trying to get by the 10 of Liam Garrison into 3. Garrison up on the cushion, and it is rolling. He's up in the marbles. He's so close to that catch fence. It's not funny, Drake.
That's what I've noticed recently a lot about watching some more of these iRaces from Knoxville. People do not care about how high you're supposed to go at Knoxville. They'll probably go a car length above it as he's going firewall deep on the fence on the high side of 3 and 4. Steinke's still hanging tough on the bottom, just can't quite get to the left rear.
Very surprised to see the move that Liam Garrison just did. Of course, the last probably 3-4 laps, he's been right up on the cushion in 1 and 2. He went to protect that slider line into 1 there and probably cost him some ground. So, again, he's doing it again, maybe just trying to take the line away from Steinke, figuring that, well, if he takes the line away from Steinke, he's going to find it very hard to let that 80 machine by. As, again, the battle between Garrison and Steinke has basically happened since the drop of the green flag.
One thing I like that Garrison's doing, and you're going to hear us talk a lot about it, especially at a big place like Knoxville. He's doing a good job of keeping his momentum up no matter what line he runs. Steinke, I've noticed, pinched it off about once or twice, and that did cost him just a little bit. But right here, he cuts down on the inside of the racetrack, trying to get some momentum down the hills. We're already taking the white flag.
Yeah, Randy Schreezer just really checked out of this one. 1.73 second advantage over Liam Garrison. One final time around Knoxville for heat race number 3 before we move into the consolation race. And again, this battle between Garrison and Steinke starting to heat up as we go into 3 and 4 for the final time. Who's going to have it? Oh, I think Garrison's out of fuel. No, I don't know why he just stopped all of a sudden. Surely time wasn't a factor in that one.
See what the result graphic has to say.
Okay, Garrison's got it.
Checkered. I think you might have got swapped ends on the racetrack. I don't know. Nonetheless, Randy Shreves, boy, he made that one a snoozer at the front of the field, but Liam Garrison hangs on for second. Steinke, Ryan Avila, Randy Fritsch, Alex Straczynski all the way down in 6th, Terrell Wheeler, and JP Schneider, your field.
Now, let me just play that starting grid so they won't be able to see these 12 laps, and top 7 will go through to the main event.
Brett, let's get a look at our starting lineup here for tonight's C-Main event.
Tyler Clouds rolls off out of position number 1. Joshua Steinke will line up on the outside of the front row.
Ernie Williams Jr. and is Ryan Frugier on the outside of row number 2.
Randy Fritsch rolls off out of position number 5 in car 72. Chris Marcantonio will start from the 6th position. I go back to Hunter Robinette in 7th, and Terrell Wheeler lines up out of position number 8. Russ Kaiser will start from position number 9. Jonathan Paquette will start from position number 10. So only the top 7 will go through.
You and I had the same thought.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would like to think that you are inside of my brain somewhat.
Kind of my job.
Well, that's good. That's good. At least we're working together.
If you can't tell, this is Brett and I's first race together. He's a seasoned veteran on iRacing, and I'm some wannabe on iRacing.
Ah, okay, so then the roles are reversed in real life then? You're a seasoned veteran in the real world, and I'm just a rookie trying to make it?
Oh, we don't like those labels in the real world. everybody's just trying to get to the same place. Some people are just in different stages of doing it.
That's always a good time calling races at a racetrack, or even here on the iRacing service. You can really get some real bangers of races.
These guys aren't afraid to do it. There's no question about it. iRacing pace truck down to the infield. Slow pace set by your front row. Green flag is out. Tyler Cowles jumps out to the first lead as they barrel down to turn 1 for the first time.
Top 7 will go through to tonight's A main. It'll be 35 laps in distance. Tyler Cowles leads the way from Joshua Steinke. Randy Fritsch to the outside. Now on Ernie Williams Jr. Randy Fritsch has position number 3. Ryan Fruget in the 65. He's trying to make his way up into the 4th position as Ernie Williams Jr. under some heavy pressure and being caught on that inside line. Again, I spoke about it earlier. Ernie Williams, he's one of the guys that just loves to get up on the cushion and just sail up on the top side, having a tough time in getting up there at the moment. Oh, Fruget gets turned by Kaiser. And no yellow at the moment. We're going to stay green with 2 down, 10 to run.
Yellow flags in the preliminary events. We are just trying to get the show running as quick as we can. Now, there will be yellow flags in the feature event, but for the heat races and lower mains, no yellow flags. So if you get in an accident like those guys did, well, better luck next week, I guess. But anyway, up front, Tyler Cowles, then it's Randy Fritsch in second. A good battle between Steinke and Wheeler for that 3rd spot.
Yeah, Terrell Wheeler trying to make his way through the middle of the speedway, trying to get by Josh Steinke. Again, these 4 drivers at the moment, they could pretty much just sit here and just go, well, you know what, I'm going to make it into the show because the 7th position, that's going to be the magic number. Hunter Robinette is trying to fend off a challenge from Ross Kaiser here, but again, Steinke goes to the cushion, past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Randy Fritsch going to run the big slider line down into turn 3. Steinke turns it back underneath him. Cross flag sticks are out. 6 down and 6 to run. Steinke has second up the line.
Playing it really aggressive. He slides through the slick part of the racetrack on the bottom side of turns 1 and 2 and quickly into the 2nd spot. Now Randy Fritsch has to fend off pressure from Wheeler. Wheeler just about a car length and a half lower. Actually, let's call it 2 car lengths. Still looking for something. Nobody's really ran the bottom all night, so it's interesting to see what Wheeler can do. He's running, I'd say maybe give or take about a foot off where it's really slick down there.
Now, once these drivers in B main number 1, which you see is labelled as C main, but again, these drivers that will go from this technical, what is again known as a C main, but also B main, will start on the inside line, and you'll see B main drivers sort of run the same line. Hopefully, we get a little bit of a warm-up session, probably 2 or 3 minutes, probably maximum that I would give these drivers, because later on the night, 35 laps around Knoxville with 24 cars, it's going to get very slick, and that bottom side will certainly come back into play. It's just a case of when.
No doubt about it. It's Cowles, Steinke, Fritsch, Wheeler, Kaiser, Paquette, and Ernie Williams Jr., your 7 transfers, but Steinke's not done. He takes a look to the high side of Cowles. Cowles with the slider line through 1 and 2. Really don't expect that from the race. He's got all the clean air in the world, but here comes Steinke to the inside. Oh, contact on the outside wall. Cowles.
Clouds in that Glass Motorsports number 76 machine. Has got 1 lap left to go here at the Knoxville Raceway. Can he hold on? A little bit of contact on the backstretch straight away as here comes Clouds out of turn number 4. Steinke goes back to the inside. Drag race at the line. Nothing in it. And again, probably half a tenth of a second, just like what we've seen in the opening heat race of the night track. And boy, I tell you what, heat 1, 2, 3, and B main number 1 has been all sorts of action throughout the course of the 10 to 12 lap journey.
No doubt about that. There has not been a bad show tonight. So that, as you mentioned, Brett, technically B main event number 1. So those guys will start on the inside row of the feature. So Cowles, Steinke, Fritsch, Wheeler, Kaiser, Paquette, and Ernie Williams Jr., your 7 transfers. Fill up the bottom rows of tonight's feature event. Hunter Robinette, Ryan Fruge, and Chris Maricanto done for the evening.
And we go to B main number 2 right now as the cars will make their way to the staging area. John Helms will start from position number 1 and Jason Randolph in car number 47 from position number 2.
And Kevin Miller will make up row number 2, a very impressive row number 2, Brett.
Yeah, Dustin Sargent and Alex Szynski for Black Diamond Motorsports will start row 3 out of positions 5 and 6.
Number 4 to the inside, Ashton Mueller and Blaine Brink in the 021. Blaine Brink been somebody I've been impressed with for quite a while. Keep your eye on this driver.
And JP Schreider and Brandon Morgan will start from positions at number 9 and 10. It's just like what we've seen in B main number 1, Drake. There will be 10 cars on the racetrack. It'll be 12 laps in distance, but the magic number once again is going to be 7.
Well, House Rock told me the magic number was 3, so I don't know where you're getting your magic numbers from.
I just noticed John Helms, he's had some sort of issues there because that car turned hard left and he's just caught a tow back to the pits. Something has gone wrong on that John Helms machine. I'm going to say it's maybe a wheel issue, or maybe if he's running a VR, maybe a VR headset issue.
I was going to say, I mean, the iRacing, it's not like a real race car where you can have just stuff randomly break under yellow. I've seen all sorts of steering components break under yellow all by himself sometimes, but with this, it's a lot more uncommon to have something wrong with the car as it is just something like that out of your control happens. So we'll see if it's maybe a short-term issue that puts Helms out. As you can see on your ticker, he's indicated in the work area, so hopefully he can make it out for the B main, and there you see him sitting in the work area. Movement down there from the 21 camp.
Right, so experience says that if you take a tow, it's about 1:45 for the tow. Then if he's got to make, again, well, he won't be able to make any in-car adjustments because he's already loaded the setup in the race and you can't edit the setup during the race, obviously, but you'd want to hope that if it is maybe a monitor issue or a VR headset issue, a steering wheel issue, you've basically got less than 2 minutes to get it figured out, and hopefully that it all comes good.
Giving him some courtesy laps right here, so man, what a weird circumstance right there for John Helms. Like you said, I think it would almost be a steering wheel issue just because the way he hooked it left, or like you said, he had a monitor issue and it hooked left. Speculating right now, no real official report.
Another thing too, does he get to go back to his 3rd starting position, or will race control send him to the tail end of the field? That's going to be another question that maybe can get answered later on. And well, it looks like they're going to pick up the pace. They're going to go green.
Oh, looks like we're going with without John Helms. His night is over. Ryan Avila quickly out to the lead in that blue and white 49, and Jason Randolph quickly into 2nd. Everybody still slicing and dicing back behind him. Mueller ahead of Schneider. Schneider's going to duck it down to the inside as they race down the front stretch at a 1.
Big slider from JP Schreider in that number 5 machine. At a start position number 9. He's already up to the 3rd position as we tick another lap off in the books. One car upside down over the wall. That's Kevin Miller in car 27. Big ride for him as he goes back to the virtual pit area. Alex Szynski rolling up on the top side of the racetrack. Blaine Brink, as you said, you've been very impressed with him, keeping an eye on him. He's in that 7th, the final transfer position. He's got Brandon Morgan breathing down his neck. We got 1, 2 cars, 3 cars around. And oh boy, it's going to get dicey for that 7th, the final transfer position.
Morgan and I believe
Ashton
I
Mueller.
tell who that is. Yeah, that's Ashton Mueller. They got hooked for the entire length of the front stretch. It's John Helms that just drove by him, and indeed it was. Well, Brett, I'm going to need a quick breather here because we're just trying to keep what's going up. One car into the wall. That's Dustin Sargent, and there's some heavy damage on that machine. Tuck it to the infield. We stay green. Ryan Avila probably has no idea what just happened behind him. Cruising up front.
Hey, wouldn't have a clue. We've got 4 cars in the pit area. In fact, 5 cars make that. So we've got halfway, not even halfway down, and we've got 5 cars back in the pits and 5 cars still on the racetrack. That cushion is playing havoc at the moment. And I'm no doubt that the guys that have already transferred directly into tonight's A no doubt they've been taking some notes and keeping an eye on this racetrack, and they've seen what this cushion is doing in the B main. You can only imagine with 35 laps, that cushion, it's going to get higher up on the outs on the catch fence, and it's certainly going to get a lot harder and a lot nastier.
I just saw Alex Rzinski pop up, so right now he'll be scored in 6th, and currently Blaine Brink in that 7th and final transfer spot.
Oh, a little mistake there.
He bounced it off the fence big time right there, just behind Randolph.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. There was a big moment in 3 and 4 as Ryan Navilla, again, he's had a stranglehold on this B main, but I'll tell you what, Jason Randolph is slowly but surely catching up to him. Remember, Drake, I said earlier on, once they get to the B main, the track sort of widens up. That bottom side is going to come back in as Jason Randolph makes an aggressive move, an aggressive pass on the inside in 1 and 2. It was almost like the Jason Johnson on Donny Shots move for that Knoxville Nationals.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was just about to bring that up. Pulled the Jason Johnson move to win that 2016 Knoxville Nationals down in turns 1 and 2. Nonetheless, it's Randolph up front. Ryan Avila is comfortably set it back into that 2nd spot. Schneider 3rd, Helms, Morgan, Strzezinski, and Blaine Brink continue to be the top 7.
Well, keeping an eye on that 47 as he puts a lap down on Blaine Brink. I believe that he's just struggling there, but he's still got that 7th position on lockdown at the moment because there's 8 cars on the racetrack out of turn number 4. Checkers are out for your race winner. Jason Randolph gets the job done. He'll go to tonight's A main for 35 laps. Ryan Avila home in 2nd. JP Schreider in 3rd. John Helms in 4th. Brandon Morgan comes home 5th. Then you'll see Alex Szynski come home in 6th position, along with Blaine Brink in 7th. Kevin Miller 8th. Ashton Miller back in the pits in 9th. And Dustin Sargent, who had some terrible luck in that B main, will come home in that 10th position as our consolation B main number 2. The consies are done, and there is your official results. Just to confirm that we do have the 7 drivers of Randolph, Avila, Scheiderer, Helms, Morgan, Szynski, and Brink all going through to tonight's A main. I tell you what I could go for. I'm sure you've been here. Have a look where we are.
Yes.
We're at the Dingus. If you really want to go down the road, we could always go to the Rib Shack. It's somewhere where you definitely don't want to end up after a night at the races. The Knoxville Medical Clinic.
Mr. C's on iRacing. I forget if he is or not.
Sure, I could find it.
Just to eat. I've been to Knoxville twice and non-wing sprint car stuff. Never been there just for a wing race. That's one thing I got to do. Knoxville Nationals, I'm sure. Brett, I don't know if you've been, but if you're a sprint car fan and it's not on your bucket list, you've better have been to it before, because if it's not on your bucket list, like, what are you doing with your life?
Well, funny you say that, because no, I haven't been. Yes, I want to go. Me being on the other side of the world, I was a couple of years ago, actually when COVID sort of struck that year, I was actually meant to be going for the 360s and the 410s, but because of COVID, we couldn't get out of the country, and that just sucked. But yes, no, it is a definite on the bucket list, and would love to get over there because I got a good friend of mine, Jerry Vansicle, and Sean Neistad have both said that if I do happen to get over there, they're happy to have me up in the booth, and what better way to commentate with Jerry Vansicle, the man himself.
Pretty neat, to say the least.
Actually, we were talking prior to coming on air about you working with Chet Kreisner and Tyler Burnett. That's actually where I met Jerry Vansicle, was through Chet Kreisner back when it was Speed Shift TV, and they were doing some iRacing stuff. And then I had one of the guys reach out to me to see if I could help him a bit, which gladly I did. I sort of jumped at the opportunity, dropped what I had, went and helped them, and that's how sort of that partnership. And yeah, we're talking about how you work with Tyler and all the the Flow Racing guys. And again, I've got a connection with Tyler Burnett, so it goes back some 10 years.
Well, that works out.
All right.
Work with Chet's been a real asset to our program with USAC on Flow this year, and Tyler continues to knock it out of the park with all the stuff he does for Flow. But we're getting ready to go for tonight's feature event season opener for the Next Level Racing 360 Sprint Cars. Brett, here's our starting lineup. On the inside of the front row, Gunnar Harris going for the clean sweep tonight. Fast time tonight, 1 is heat race, and he rolls from the pole in the feature, and 2 is outside, Ty Showblock from Ohio.
Randy Trees will start the 56 front position number 3 to the outside. Ross Corinta lines up at a position number 4.
Well, it's going to be hard to miss this guy on the racetrack from PA in this bright pink and white, number 11. That's Kenny Hoffman, and 2 is outside, Liam Garrison.
Row 4 to the inside, Tyler Clowes will start from position number 7, and Jason Randolph in car 47 lines up at a position number 8.
B main event winners occupy row number 5, Josh Steinke in the 80, and 2 is outside the winner of the second B main in the Speed Shop 51.com 49. That's Ryan Avila.
Row 6 to the inside in car 72. That'll be Randy Fritsch lines up at a position number 11, and to the outside driving the 5J from position number 12, it's JP Schroederer.
Number 5, Joshua Steinke, or we actually went through that row, excuse me. We're down on row number 7, if I can remember how to count. Terrell Wheeler and John Helms, who, if you remember at the start of his B-main event, had issues, was able to get on track and through the craziness transferred.
Oh, Record Ross Kaiser, the Momentum Sim Sports 4R will roll off at a position number 15 inside of Brandon Morgan, who lines up the 31 from position number 16.
Starring Jonathan Paquette's had an interesting night. He rolls off from the inside of row number 9, and this driver has been upside down, sideways, spinning, in some way, somehow transferred into the feature event out of the final B main. This is Alex Herzinski. And
your 10th and final row in tonight's Next Level Racing 360 Wing Sprint Car Series opener for Black Diamond Motorsports. It's the 91 of Ernie Williams Jr. I like to call him Boomhauer. If you haven't spoken to him, I'll explain that in a minute. But Blaine Brink rolls off from the 20th and final starting position.
And the green is out on the first race of the season for the Next Level Racing Wing 360 Sprint Cars. Gunnar Harris on his quest to clean sweep the night leads him through turns 1 and 2 and up the back straightaway for the first time.
Ty Showblock will now dive to the inside into turn number 3. Slide job as we make our way out of turn number 4. Who's going to have it at the start-finish line? Give that one to Ty Showblock. Not by a whole lot of margin as Gunnar Harris now works back to the top side of the racetrack out of turn number 2. There's fireworks still going off in the middle of the racetrack. Thankfully, these drivers, hopefully they won't be too distracting for him. Look at Randy straight into the left rear of Ty Showblock, and that checks up Ross Corinta in car number 10, and that allows Kenny Hoffman to sneak on by.
And a slick move right there was just patient. About top 5 or so have already strung themselves out as we're still shooting off fireballs down the back straight away. But keep an eye on Jason Randolph quickly into the 6th spot as he's trying to get away from that Hornet's Nest back behind.
Keeping an eye on Ryan Avila up a couple of positions along with Jason Randolph. They're both sitting in 6th and 8th position. You see the 47 just to the left of your screen also working up several positions. Alex Zazinski up to position number 15. Bring him with him, his teammate. Remember, Ernie Williams Jr., Alex Zazinski, both had a bit of bad luck in the heats and, of course, struggled to make it through the B mains, but they are making it work. And, again, I'm still seeing fireworks off in the middle, and that's for 4 laps straight. Make it 5 laps straight.
5 down, 30 to go in the long 30 laps left ahead as here's Randolph to the inside of Corinta. Randolph slowly but surely picking his way through the field, sets his sights on Hoffman as they dive down to 3. Corinta, though, not done. Takes a peek at Slick, and that's going to cost him as Randolph now solidly into the top 5.
Tyler Clowes in the 76. Again, bringing with him is Ryan Avila. Jason Randolph +3. Alex Zazinski started 18th. He's up to position 12. That's +6 on the night. He battles with Ross Kaiser, Ernie Williams Jr. There's a whole bunch of Hornets nests back here that are just sort of trading sliders, trading positions. Here goes Kaiser down to the inside. Slide job on Liam Garrison. Garrison turns it underneath. Zazinski goes with Garrison. Garrison now going to put the move back to Ross Kaiser. Great racing here in the Next Level Racing Design 360 Wing Sprint Cars. Trouble for the 10. Oh boy.
The gaggle of cars back there, that was just in front of that 5-car battle for 11th. First yellow flag waves, 9 laps in the books.
We're going to have a look at this here on the NLRA instant replay. Jason Randolph, Ross Corinta, I believe, Well, they didn't have the initial contact, maybe. No, they did. So it was Randolph who got into the left rear. Oh, a tough break for Jason Randolph to end up on his side. Again, unless he gets hit back on all fours. Like I said earlier during that B main, he's actually going to have to take a minute 45 tow back to the pits. And well, I don't think race control are going to wait that long for him to tag up onto the back of the field.
Is in the pits right now, and Ezra was down there for a second, not sure. There's Randolph. Steinke's down there as well in the 80. It's a shame for Jason Randolph. Just kicked it in a little too hot down into turn number 4. Caught the back of Hoffman, and that was all she rode. But Ty Schoblock trying to end the reign of terror Gunnar Harris has had on this evening at the Knoxville Raceway. He currently leads. He's still back in that second spot, and you see the lineup jumbling all around. That's not official in the slightest. If we're changing that many spots under yellow, there's bigger concerns. But yeah, pay no attention right now to the as the scoring system does kind of go a little wonky under yellow flags.
And that's the joy of our racing and giving us, well, we use the SDK timing screen, but again, it's no different if we were using a program called ATVO, I think it is. We've gone from that to SDK, so again, like Drake said, pay no attention to it until we go back to green. And I believe the lights will go out on the iRacing Pace truck, and they do, which means Drake. The field is going to double them up into rows of 2 by 2, and it's going to be Ty Schoblock to lead us back to green.
Schoblock, I think, has surprised a few people by just being able to get out in front, and that's the big thing at Knoxville and a lot of these big places. We talk about it at Eldora, we'll talk about it at Williams Grove when we get there. Is really the big thing you can have in wing sprint car racing, and the inside of the front row has been the preferred starting spot, and no surprises to see Schoblock down there, so we'll see if that's the place to be on the restart. Boy, it's getting slick down there on the bottom. He eases into the throttle and jumps out in front of Harris and the rest of the field.
Won't be too long before they go exactly where Ty Schoblock actually goes, and probably a lane or two just off the bottom side from that inside curve. That'll also come into play probably at around the lap 18 to 20 mark, I dare say. It's just a matter of who's going to find it first. We'll keep an eye on Ryan Avila trying to battle with Tyler Clowes. Clowes goes back to the inside. Then you got Randy Streams, Alex Szynski. Szynski plus 11 on the night, up into the top 10. And the 23 driver from Black Diamond Motorsports. He is a man on a mission trying to make his way into the top 5.
About Ryan Avila, too, in that 4 spot, won one of the B-main events, currently racing for that 4 spot. Tip of the cap, though, to Tyler Cowles, first driver on the inside lane. And when I say the inside lane, I mean very, very inside lane around the berm. And just as I say that, he slides up. But he's going to get passed by Randy Shreves for that 5th spot. Now, here's Szynski. He talks about his big charge. He's going to try to make it +1 more to the inside of Cowles. Now goes to the inside of Randy Shreves for 5th.
Again, Szynski again trying to drive it up into the top 5. He'll put the slider on Tyler Clowes. Clowes back to the inside. And again, good battle just outside the top 5 position. Now making it right away around that 5th position. Kenny Hoffman jumped the cushion. The car bicycled in the middle of turn 1 and 2. He got off the cushion, drove back down through the middle of the racetrack. And some good racing going on outside the top 5. Meanwhile, Ty Schoblock still holding on to the race lead. And it's not by much, I got to say, because Gunnar Harris may have found something right through the line that I said is probably going to come into play in the next 5 or so laps.
The advantage of being in second is you can try stuff to get past the race leader. Ernie Williams ducks off the speedway. We stay green at the front of the field, but the advantage to being in second is you can try stuff, and Gunnar Harris is trying stuff. In that line, we saw Tyler Cowles running on the inside part of the racetrack. Just really slick right there. It's going to be hard to get a hold of that here for the rest of the race, even though we're only 16 laps in. Szynski in the side of Shreves. Shreves bounces it off the guardrail. Keeps going. We stay green, but Shreves, the big loser on that one.
Now here comes the old record, Ross Kaiser for our machine. And coming with him is John Helms. Both Kaiser and Helms up 7 positions. We go 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. We've got a lap car of Jason Randolph still stuck in the middle, just trying to hold his line full wide for it more as we go through into 1 and 2. And what about this battle, Drake? Positions 5, 6, 7 and 8. You can throw a blanket over him right now.
moves Kaiser through the middle. He's going to slide Cowles. Meanwhile, Szerzynski says, heck to it, I'm getting out of here. And he's going to do just that. John Helms, from maybe not even going to make to the start of the B main, is currently running inside the top 10, back in 7th. And Kaiser has been up, down, all around tonight. He's going to go for that 5th spot. He sticks to the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to find what grip is down there. And he finds out there's a good deal of grip. He goes to 5th.
Well, Ross Kaiser plus 10 positions in 5th position. He'll go back to 9 because Alex Szerzynski is looking at a plus 13 if he managed to finish in that 5th position. He'll go back to 12th if he falls back just behind Ross Kaiser. So both these drivers, you think about it, they've passed 22 cars between the pair of them. And my, they are really making a charge for that 5th position.
Go single file if they want a shot at Ryan Avila. Those two guys are getting away from him, but the other two guys getting away from him is Showblock and Harris. Showblock has definitely moved down the racetrack, but Gunnar Harris has been from the wall to the berm trying to find a way past the 17. Just can't find a clear opening, trying to get some clean air on that nose wing as he slides up just behind your race leader Showblock.
Tell you what, just keep an eye on Gunnar Harris in 3 and 4. He's a whole lot quicker than Ty Showblock in 3 and 4. It's a different story in 1 and 2. The shoe's on the other foot. Ty Showblock drives away from him in 1 and 2. There's the speed that I was just talking about that Gunnar Harris has found. So Harris, he's got 3 and 4 figured out. He's now just got to figure out how to replicate that or duplicate that in 1 and 2.
Oh, the racetrack, as you mentioned, going through severe changes. You look at middle, or I should say entry to middle in turns 1 and 2, black slick. In 3 and 4, much of the same, and it's creeping closer to the wall. There's not going to be a whole lot more grip to be found here as we come down to the end of this race. 10 to go for your race leaders.
Yeah, 10 to go next time by for Ty Showblock. He's still your race leader. It didn't take him all that long to get to that number 1 position, but Gunnar Harris, he's trying to fight back to try and get back by into the number 1 position, trying to make it still would somewhat be a clean sweep, although we didn't lead every lap of tonight's featurette, but he may have just found something in 1 and 2. Now here comes Harris, a challenge and a change back for the race lead.
Was the magic move right there. He's going to slide up, bang it off the fence. Showblock cuts down low, can't get to his inside. With less than 10 laps to go, Gunnar Harris shoots to the lead as we go yellow to break up this amazing battle for the lead. Oh, bringing the party to a stop.
Oh boy, I got Ross Kaiser wrecking about 3 or 4 laps ago. He's probably jumped the cushion, but I think Tyler Clowes and John Helms had come together in this one. Let's see what happens here on your instant replay. Oh, both drivers, they're synchronized, jumped the cushion, and both went upside down. Tough break for Clowes and John Helms.
Trophy Cup style down in 3 and 4. That was a see like at the Tulare Thunderbowl on California.
Yeah, that was again. I did say that cushion, that build up. I'll tell you what. Let's go on board. Let's take a look at the right front, and we'll see if we can just have a look at how big that cushion gets up towards that guardrail. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bigger in 1 and 2 than what it is in 3 and 4, but just have a look at the sizes that we go on board here with Gunnar Harris. Just watch about here when they get past this that sign right there. Look how big that is. Look how much it climbs up to the guardrail. It's like up to the bottom of the 3rd rail.
It's a lot higher than you see at Knoxville in real life. Like I said, I was joking at first when I said, boy, it's like a trophy cup in here with the cushion on it. But now look, especially in 3 and 4, kind of similar. Man, you look at that spot where it's really mound up in turns 3 and 4. Yikes. That's going to be tough to handle. And I'm not shocked to see why Gunnar Harris has kind of slid up to it. That's not something you want to ride all the way through the corner unless, you're going for the win coming down to the checkered flag. But, man, look at how slick it is up to the curb now in turns 1 and 2. Basically the entire racetrack black slick, but plus there's still a lot of lines for these guys to choose from, and that's going to make it interesting as we come down to the wire in this one.
There's a little bit of loose dirt right through the slick in the out of the middle of turn number 2. That may come into play. We just seen one of the lap cars at the back just sort of roll through them. I think that was Jason Randolph, so keep an eye on that middle part of the racetrack, and it's the same in 3 and 4. So like right in the middle, right in the slick, that may come into play. We go back to green flag action. 27 down, 8 laps remaining here in Knoxville. The next level racing 360 wing sprint cars back here on Ultimate TV.
Navilla making a bid for that second spot in car 49. He shoots low as show block. Your B main event winner, at least B main event winner of one of them, tries to go to second show block, finds a run off the curb and drives away through turns 1 and 2 now. Avila tries to replicate the move in 1 and 2. He pulls alongside, unable to make the pass. Show block clears him into 3.
Well, like I said earlier, Ryan Avila, he's won quite a fair few races here in the official series here at the Knoxville Raceway this week, and now he's going to dive to the inside there on Ty Schoblock. Keep an eye on Kenny Hoffman. Again in that pink and white number 11 machine. Avila has made his way to position number 2. He'll try and block that line down into 3. Schoblock moves to the inside, wheel to wheel as they make their way out of turn number 4. Gunnar Harris, 5 laps left to run. Ryan Avila, he may have something here for Gunnar Harris. Drake, you better hang on. We're set for an absolute belter of a finish.
There's no doubt about that. Gunnar Harris still kind of plays defense on the entry to 3 and 4, slides up to the curb. It's tough to handle. About smack the guardrail off at turn number 4. Ryan Avila about 4 car lengths back into turn 1 and 2, and show block back into the thick of it. He's going to try to squeeze in between the two of them. Avila into the wall. Here comes Hoffman.
Oh, Kenny Hoffman may just sneak into a podium position. He may even get second if he can just hang on and try and get by Ty Schoblock. That was a very, very gutsy move from Schoblock on Ryan Avila. And Avila, he had every opportunity to go back underneath and turn it underneath him, but he chose to try and stick it around the outside. Schoblock blocks Hoffman down into turn number 3. Meanwhile, Gunnar Harris coming up on the 47 of Jason Randolph. The popsicle sticks are out. Tip of the green, 2 to go.
Battling is exactly what Gunnar Harris wants to see. He wants to see those guys battling back behind him, so nobody has a shot at him. Showblock, though, distanced himself a little bit from Hoffman. Oh, Hoffman sent it a little too deep into 3 and 4. That's going to cost him some time, and Ryan Avila the inside with the white flag out.
1 lap left to run here in the Next Level Racing 360 Wing Sprint Car Series. Down the back straightaway for the final time. The season opener here at the Sprint Car capital of the world. And Gunnar Harris is going to complete a feature win from qualifying to a heat win to now a feature race victory from Ty Schoblock home in second. Ryan Avila third. Wow, Drake, what a way to cap off that A main. Those last 5 laps, it had everything for second, third and fourth. The battle between Schoblock, Avila, Hoffman, something for these drivers to really, really hold their heads up high. As we're going to take a look here at your official results, and there it is. Gunnar Harris gets the win by just under half a second over Ty Schoblock. Ryan Avila completes your podium. Alex Szynski home in fourth by 1/1000th of a second over Kenny Hoffman. And that puts Alex Szynski plus 14 positions from the 18th starting position. Liam Garrison, Randy Shreves, Jonathan Paquette, Jason Randolph, and Randy Fritsch make up your top 10.
And you said it right there. That one was a barn burner. And how about Alex Szynski? I talked about him in qualifying. Didn't have a good qualifying run. I talked about him in his heat race. Did not have a good run in his heat race. Managed to survive through the craziness of his B main event. Comes out, I believe you said it was plus 14, top 5 finish nonetheless. A great start to the season. Not exactly a race you want to be a hard charger in, but man, that one was exciting start to finish. You talked about the curb on the wall. I mean, what else can you say about that? That was about the gnarliest curb you'll ever see at Knoxville. It was tough to handle, but Gunnar Harris, as you said, he converted fast time to a heat win to what I thought he was going to run away in the feature. Turned battle Ty Schoblock for it, but he picks up the feature event win, clean sweep on the night for the driver of the 54.
I'll tell you what, we're going to bring in Gunnar Harris, and I'll let you talk to our race winner in car number 54.
Gunnar Harris, feature event winner, and Gunnar, you had to work for it. I'm curious, watching the first stage of that race, you were not the car to beat. Schoblock got ahead of you, and you were just left kind of laying back there in second. Were you just kind of saving your stuff for the end of the race, or were you still pushing throughout the early part of the race trying to keep up with Schoblock?
I was just trying to. There at the beginning, I wasn't too sure what the line was since I was leading, and obviously you can't see what the line is when you're out front. So he got around me, and then I didn't really know where to go, and then I was seen we were kind of pulling away from third, and I was keeping pace with him, and he was kind of like doing a half slider to the middle line in 1 and 2, and then in 3 and 4 a slider, a little bit to the apex, maybe a little bit out, further down, and I started mimicking that line, and I was doing all right. I was getting to the cushion a little bit easier than he was in 3 and 4. That's where I was able to build up some of my momentum. I wasn't too sure what to do in 1 and 2. I was a little bit tied in the centers, so once I kind of got that figured out, then track slickened off a little bit, and I was able to just slide to both ends, and was able to get around him and then just protect going into, I think, 3 and 4 it was, and yeah, was able to get the win.
That curve, we were talking about it all race long. That curve was about as big as you'll see at Knoxville. How tough was that to handle?
Yeah, it was pretty big. I'm usually the type to run the bottom around Knoxville, but it obviously wasn't there tonight. But yeah, the cushion, it was very, very dangerous. You just hit it a little bit and it'd bike you for sure. And especially entering 3, the curb was pretty tall. So I was trying not to run the rim all the way around. And luckily I didn't have to. But that slider was just enough to not really get bit, I guess, as much as you would if you'd run the top all the way around. So.
Gunnar Harris did not get bit by the cushion. He rides the rim to a season opening victory with the Next Level Racing 360 Sprint Cars at the Knoxville Raceway. Congrats, Gunnar.
Thanks. I'd just like to thank the guys at Speed Shot 51, Clinton Tilley and them guys. Ryan, I saw he had a good second place going, so I don't know what happened. I think he got fed or something. But yeah, I just appreciate Tilley and Ross and what those guys do, and you all for broadcasting, and Sparky for putting the league on.
Gunnar Harris, he's your winner of the season opener here at the Knoxville Raceway.
All right, well, let's bring in Ty Sherlock, who comes home in second. And Ty, mate, congratulations. Boy, that one, those last 15 laps or so, 15, 20 laps, man, that had a bit of everything, and you were all over it. You were involved in everything. How did that one feel at the end of the night?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to come away second. I mean, you always want to win, but it was a pretty good run for us. 360s are definitely a car I struggle in. I'm typically better in the 410. And Knoxville is probably my worst track in the game. So now with Pro Series qualifiers on Monday being there, we kind of had to figure something out. So we did a little bit of testing earlier. We got something figured out. I definitely could have pushed the car harder about when there was around 15 to go up on the cushion instead of just trying to roll into the grip and then cut down just to make the track shorter. But, I mean, put that in the notebook and do better next time.
Right, there's not a lot of tracks on iRacing that get a cushion that big. How do you sort of prepare yourself when you're sort of rolling around, knowing that it gets that big? What do you do to not try and jump that cushion and wreck your race car and still be up front and be competitive?
Well, actually, recently, I don't know if they did an update to it or what. It's not as bad. I mean, we used to call it Mount Knoxville because it was literally bigger than your right rear. So that was bad. I mean, if you tried to get on top of that, you were flipping over the fence first try. But like I said, right now it's not too bad. The track was actually really good. I mean, even up on the cushion, like I said, it wasn't that bad. It was still big compared to other tracks, but I mean, you just got to drive it in there kind of cautiously because you could very easily bike it and go for a wild ride. So I mean, to me, I just like to try to roll into the tacky and cut down and shorten the track, and I kind of did that too long, and that's how Gunnar got around me.
Hey, talk us through those last 5 laps, obviously, with Gunnar getting the restart there. Yourself, Ryan Avila, Kenny Hoffman, you guys really put on a show those last, I think it was 8 laps when we got that last caution. Talk us through those last 5 laps and what it's like to run around with those guys.
Yeah, they're all clean racers. It's always fun running with them. They're always up front. I'm typically up there if I qualify good. That's kind of my Achilles heel, but recently it's been getting better. But yeah, I mean, it was good fun racing those last few laps. I really was committed to driving it as hard as I could on the top because I knew my car was good enough there. And I actually cut about 2/10 off my lap times from whenever I was just rolling in the tack and cutting down. So like I said, if I would have done that earlier, I think it might have been a different story, but it was good fun, clean racing with those guys.
I think you mentioned earlier about the CarQuest Auto Parts Sprint Car Pro qualifying series. Again, we had a track change from Williams Grove to Knoxville. You said you were testing this one. What do you take from this race and sort of apply it to the 410s? Because we've seen you in top split last Monday at Weedsport. What do you take from this tonight and sort of prepare yourself for Monday night?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. I've been having issues recently with 360 to 410 setup, like what needs to be different from car to car, because obviously there's a lot more horsepower in the 410. I'm not really sure. We're going to have to figure that out within the next couple of days, because we better be good coming Monday with a pretty poor showing this past Monday at Weedsport.
No, buddy. Look, well done on second place tonight. Good luck on Monday night. And again, you can catch all the pro qualifying series live here on Ultimate Dirt TV for the top split. Ty, wish you the best of luck in trying to get that pro license. Before we let you go, of course, sponsor on this race car, people behind the scenes who makes this happen for you.
Yeah, me and my good friend Jack Ritz, we do a lot of testing together. I actually had COVID last week, so I've been on this more than I ever have, and it's kind of showing. I've been faster because of it. Also, Vanderpool Racing, Austin Vanderpool put me on the team. Had a lot of fun, puts up test session for us, and gives me a sweet-looking rod every week.
All right, there we go. Ty Sherlock home in third place. Drake, I believe you're standing by with our third place finisher of Ryan Avila.
Yeah, Ryan had a pretty topsy-turvy night, to say the least. Won the B main and then charged all the way at the third in the feature. And just take us through your night, because you had, like I said, the issue in the heat race wasn't exactly what you were hoping for, and now you're standing here on the podium, just a wide range of emotions.
Yeah. When you roll out for the feature, it's just ultimate focus. So, I mean, never look back. So, raced with Ty a lot, so I knew what he was gonna do later in the race. Always a clean, good racer, very fast. So, I knew I had to do something to get around him for sure. Going back to Knoxville Nationals, I took all that practice, and even though it's a completely different engine and horsepower and whatever, but same thing. So just took that and put it here tonight for sure.
When we went out for the feature, it was a totally different racetrack, and we're watching some of the replays of you here during the feature. The track was black slick, top to bottom, with a massive, not even curb, it was more of a ramp by the end of it. When you set up the car for the feature, how much are you setting up for what the track is at the start compared to how much it is at the end?
I'm going super late race, so I'm just getting quicker and quicker as the race goes on. Early, I set my car up for, like, I can roll it, but it's not just going to be as quick, so I was getting past, and I could pull equal someone out of the 2 or 4, so just setting up for the slider and, like, a cut down line would be your ultimate, like, setup for here. So with the guys in Speed Shop 51, helped me set up every race car, so I know what I'm doing, I think, and put that into tonight.
And Avila, bottom step of the podium tonight to open the season. He will round out your podium here at the Knoxville Raceway.
Well, that wraps up round number 1 of the Next Level Racing 360 Wing Sprint Car Series, Drake. That was a whole lot of fun. And tell you what, no better way, like we said at the top of the night, Sprint Car capital of the world. And it really put on a show from start to finish.
Best part is we get to do it tomorrow with the Apex Auto Glass and Tinting Winged 410 Sprint Cars.
Yeah, I believe you can catch that one on Sim Racing Media for tomorrow night. So, boy, I tell you what, Knoxville. And now, I believe this season they are going to follow the Pro Qualifying Series, the CarQuest Auto Parts Pro Qualifying Series for the 410. So each track before the Monday night, they'll be at this very racetrack, and like we said earlier, they'll start this week, or they'll stay this week at Knoxville, and then I believe they're going to, I want to say Port Royal or Lucas Oil. They're going to go to one of those tracks, and it's going to be a different schedule, and you should see some of the top drivers on the sim come out each and every week to try and win this championship in the Next Level 360 Wing Sprint Car Series and the 410 Series as well.
Yeah, you know how iRacing is, especially when you get to this point, and it ceases to amaze like we saw tonight. Those guys, it's a 360 race, but they're still laying it out on the line like it's the 410 Nationals. So when you get a good group of guys on iRacing, anything's possible like this, like we saw tonight.
Certainly as well. That'll wrap us up here on Ultimate Dirt TV. Drake, it's been fun working with you. No doubt we'll be working over the next week or two or coming months here with some stuff. So Drake, it's a pleasure to work with you, and we'll certainly see you next time.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you for everybody tuning in tonight on Ultimate Dirt TV.